I like everything instant, whether it's my coffee or photography or instant bonsai. Yeah. Sorry if I scared you. I get a bit overexcited sometimes. So I collected this specimen of Ficus racemosa on August 21st. That's almost over 50 days ago. And it took me just a minute to cut with this hacksaw blade. Hence instant bonsai. Have a look at some of the pictures first, then I will talk. This tree is less than 2 years old, and in the month of June this year, when I saw it, it was 3 feet tall, and I had to reduce it to the required final height. So I chopped off with a hacksaw blade, and instead of bringing it home right away and let it recover in a pot, I thought why not leave it in the ground itself, because the recovery would be better, the roots are not disturbed, and that's exactly what happened. So the top that was cut off, I prepared around 10 cuttings from that and planted it into water. Put it in water and rooted it successfully. Some of it which was moved to the soil. And there is a story of this on my blog, the link to which is given in the description below. So this is where it was chopped off in the month of June. And 1, 2 and 3, there's one more at the back here. So this is also a thick branch. So at these 3 places it was chopped off. Then I allowed it to recover in ground for the next 2 months, and only after that did I harvest this from the ground. Now I'll show you what happens when you try to collect these kind of pieces from nature. Just pretend that this is a tree growing in the ground, and normally in all the bonsai videos that I've come across on net, the experts say that you should dig a trench around the root ball and extract the root ball as it is without disturbing the roots. Now this is not a very practical solution. In most of the cases, the species I'm working with, they have a strong taproot that goes straight deep into the ground. So there is no point in wasting all this time. What I do is I dig a little bit around the trunk, and the moment I can see the root section on the ground with a hacksaw blade, and it doesn't even need to have a handle, I just put a cloth and cut it at that point, maybe 2 inches below the ground. So you have to remember that I'm cutting the root section, I'm not cutting the trunk. So when it is replanted into a pot, the roots will develop side roots more easily, rather than cutting the trunk and taking it as a cutting. So this is a stem that has to develop into a root. That takes a longer time. Whereas the root developing more root cells is much easier, and that is faster. So most of the time when you feel that there is a strong taproot into the ground, there is no point in wasting your time digging a root ball. You will not get a root ball. Now these bottle caps which have been kept on top of the cocoa peat, and some stones are there, they are merely to block or reduce the evaporation. The water I am pouring into this, I want the plant to utilize that. I do not want it to evaporate away, and that's the reason these have been kept. There's another plus point to keeping something on the top to block evaporation is the roots starts, once they fill up the bottom medium, the roots start coming to the surface also, and this starts spreading around. Now if these were not there and this whole top surface was exposed to sunlight, you would not have these roots coming onto the top. So this is a good feature. Always make sure you cover it with something. Even a plastic packet is good enough. Some wet cloth is good enough. If you have moss, put moss. This works fine for me. Pebbles, stones, anything is fine. So the pot I have used for this is a net basket or a colander. It looks like this, it's the same thing, so I bought 2 of this. And when you get new plants, when you acquire new plants or repot it into something like this, always remember that this much exposure to air and direct sunlight and wind might be detrimental to your growth of the plant. So please make sure that you either protect the outer surface or the inner surface. So I have used just this is a shopping bag's fabric. This fabric allows water and air to pass through, so the roots also can penetrate this. So I just keep it like this and fold the edges in, the extra edges. And into this I put my bonsai soil mix and planted this fellow into it, and then covered the tops with the caps. So this allows water to drain out. It allows the roots to penetrate and go through. So, but at the same time it is giving us slight protection against wind. I have tried planting it directly into this and it's not a good solution. Once the plant is established, this is fine, direct planting is fine. So once this has been completely established, I might just take it out and plug it into this without the fabric. I use bottle caps to elevate the colander from the ground, so there is an air contact below that also, and it helps in air pruning. Now initially when the plant is potted into this, you might also want to have a newspaper completely wrapping around so that the sides are protected from sun exposure and wind. Let the plant settle down first. So for a month or 2 I would protect this from the side as well as cover on the top. But without that kind of a protection, the roots don't even go to the very edge. They stay inside. So you're having a lesser volume of soil which is feeding the plant. So your outer edge of the soil is not being utilized. So the manure and the fertilizer in that is going waste. A colander should not be resting on the ground like this, flat. You want air to go beneath that and prune the roots. Or have a moist medium below that so that the roots come out, and anyway you can prune it manually too. So that is exactly what I am doing here now. Before I move on to other topics, let me quickly wrap up this on instant bonsai. I have saved 2 years of time growing this in ground by harvesting a tree that is 2 years old, which I found in ground, which I had just merely pruned and then collected 2 months later. And all that is happening because of this wonderful tool. It's a hacksaw blade. Now normally this is sold for cutting metal pipes, and this would have a separate handle which is to be purchased separately. Now you don't need all these fancy things. I just use a simple cloth. You just have to grip it and just do this for a minute, and no matter how thick the trunk is, 2 fingers thick or 3 fingers thick, they can be easily cut. Especially with ficus, the wood is not very hard. You can easily cut it with this. Now you know how much I spent for this? Just 10 rupees. It's a flexible metal. You can bend it into a U shape and it will not break. See how flexible it is? You just need a few of these. If you're living in an apartment, do not buy and waste your money on tools that will last 100 years. This is good enough for you. I have bought only 3 in the past 1 year. And it's just 10 rupees. It's disposable. Though this is one single tool, it's going to last you a long time. You're not going to use it up all at once. So I basically use the first half of it, and once these edges are worn out, I just flip it and start using the other end. Now once this entire edge is gone, I just rotate it and start using the same thing. So I'm getting actually 4 tools for the price of 1. A pruning saw I have seen on internet will cost you in excess of rupees 300. That's way too much for a thing that you're not going to be repeatedly using. Even if you have land and a big house and enough place for multiple bonsais, you still don't need anything more than this. That's my take on it. Instant bonsai for me is all about finding the right thickness of the trunk and finding it, cut it and pot it. FCP, find it, cut it, pot it. That's what instant bonsai is. I don't want to spend years growing something that's way too much for me. Just find the material that you require and then shape it. Now I already have the trunk of the desired thickness. I do not need to have a fatter trunk of this. All that is required is develop the branch structure so that it looks like a miniature tree. That's all that is spending on this. The roots, I'm not so bothered because it's a 1 month or 2 month process. The roots will establish, and anyway it's below ground, no one is going to see that. What is going to be seen is the trunk and the branch structure and the leaf size. Again, leaf size reduction is fairly easy. What you're going to spend maximum time is developing the branches, a fine ramification of the branches. That's going to take time. I'm not so worried about leaf size or the roots. They will take care of themselves. This you have to do it manually, and this is where the art part of it comes in. You have to wire it, shape it into the right thing. You have to cut it, prune it frequently, and that will slow down your growth. So you have to, the story elongates a little longer than what you would normally like. For the next few months, I will not be doing much of work on this. I'm just allowing it to settle down and establish the roots. Let the plant go wild. The idea is to encourage the plant to regain its health. There are some parts of the trunk where there are dual branches starting from the same point, and that is not good because the trunk will thicken up and lose the taper. But I don't want to fix it right now. Let the plant do its own thing. All I'm going to be doing is, as the height increases of these branches, I might want to stop it, but if I want thickness, I have to let them grow. So if one of the techniques that people use for thickening the branch is, don't touch the tip of the branch, let this grow. You keep chopping off the leaves on the base. Some of these leaves are now too large for me. Most of the leaves are small because of repeated pruning while it was in ground. But now again the leaves are growing in size, so I don't want such big leaves. First of all, it doesn't look nice to me, and such big leaves block sunlight for the other new branches and leaves. So you might want to do this type of a cutting. I reduced the size by half, so I don't need such big leaves. So I'm basically reducing the thickness of the foliage and hence allowing more sunlight to reach within.